Greetings, YouTube, and tonight now part two of the Xmen franchise review. Now, I should have mentioned some other aspects of First Class X of the other movies that I forgot to mention in my first video. Like for example, X2. X was it how had had was excellent casting and action. I mean, Kelly Hu as Lady Deathstrike. Now that woman is a badass when it comes to acting. And Brian Cox, underrated actor, but he's good in almost everything I've seen him in. Whether it be a good guy, bad guy, but the bundling dumbass. Which, like I said, out of that 5 out of 5. Now in the First Class, excellent time for the McAvoy for portrayals of Professor X to take place in different time periods. Now, for young Professor X, I'll give him his effort. I mean, does a damn good job and a very underrated actor at that. Excellent actor too. Kind of like Michael Fassbender as young Magneto. X-Men First Class, I mean, was was a was excellent for a Cold War thriller. Technically, for how it took place during the Cuban Missile Crisis and how in the X-Men universe, Magneto averted it. The X-Men averted it, I mean. And how Magneto's how that told Magneto's tale from hero to bad guy to this is where it goes like good but bad guy but good intentions. In which technically any hero, as he got revenge on Kevin Bacon's character, who was the Nazi that killed his mom. I mean, come on, Kevin Bacon. I mean, how can you not like Kevin Bacon as an actor? That guy could play anything. And another aspect I liked personally was that scene in the strip club, in the secret strip club for the elites, with Palisades Park in the background. I mean, if you're gonna do a movie that takes place in the '60s, at least make it a period accurate soundtrack, along with Banshee, who surprisingly takes place in 1962, and how Apocalypse takes place in '83. Yet over 21 years apart, yet he and Cyclops are supposed to be brothers. Yet, and how they don't age them halfway through. Along with the excellent cameo in First Class of Wolverine. And now on to Days of Future Past, which another flaw of it was an underuse, and how they reduced Bishop to a lousy cameo. And I mean, come on. Bishop was one of the most badass X-Men characters of all time. I mean, he's technically Black Cable. And another one where he's going in when Quicksilver has to rescue his dad Magneto from the government after he was a patsy for killing JFK also in the X-Men universe. When when Wolverine goes back in time to stop Mystique from killing Trask, in the old superhero cliche of no killing, the no killing rule, which I'll give an excellent shot and an excellent sequence in that prison escape for him to be in speed mode for quit when someone's in speed mode, taking on those bad guys and taking on those government guys to tune in the bottle. I mean, Croce. Oh, that is excellent. I've already, and another thing on Apocalypse was excellent take on Mohawk Storm origins and of course Olivia Munn as Psylocke. I mean, that woman had to look for the character. And now on to Logan, the greatest Wolverine standalone of all time, which is an excellent tale of a futuristic western, to where he starts off like a limo chauffeur while taking care of a dying Professor X along with Caliban, until he gets kidnapped by Dr. Rice's mercenaries alongside Agent Pierce, who had the robot arm. And I mean, that was how you portray Wolverine. Foul mouth and violent. Like I mentioned in a previous video, not meant for kids. And a moving tale, and in my opinion, that's how the X-Men series should have ended. Kind of like, yeah, if you hear nasal noises, off topic, I just got allergies just acting up today, so don't worry about that. Now back to that, Logan. Excellent tale. I mean, how and execution of the old man Logan storyline, and the badass fights between Wolverine and X-24 when he protects the young X-23, which excellent reimagining to make X-23 a kid instead of grown, like how she was originally planned out in X-Men Evolution, the animated series, and later evolved into the comic canon, which is one that gets you here and makes you, I mean, ooh, in a perfect sense. And when he eventually dies, and from having to protect X-23 and aka Laura and her mutant friends, the new generation, heroic sacrifice. And since I said I'm going to label this X-Men franchise review part 2, just for the record, Deadpool I'm going to save for a separate video. I mean, come on, just because I'm a fan of Deadpool. Enjoy. And I forgot to mention another thing in Days of Future Past was how I never heard of the French version of "Stop in the Name of Love," which is very out there for a movie that takes place in the 70s. Like how Apocalypse took place in the 80s, and Jean Grey's line of "the third part's always the worst one." And if you're watching this, Sophie Turner, the jabs were a joke. Because you're young and you got time to not be typecast as Sansa. Enjoy, fans.